It won't have escaped your attention as you were coming in, that vintage Rolls Royce in the lobby. I'm not sure that's the right tone for Transport for the North. I bought my first car when I was 18. I paid £300 in cash for a black Mark II Ford Escort. I used to have to park it on a hill so I could bump start it in the morning. And I went to a breaker's yard to buy a starter motor and fitted it myself. And actually thinking back, that's probably what started my trajectory to being an engineer. But that car represented freedom. I could go where I wanted, when I wanted. I could go and visit my girlfriend later at night. And when we talk about behavior change, we will never compete with young love. That sense of freedom lasted until the end of the month when I had to fill up the tank. How much do we spend on private transport across the Northeast? In your mind, pick a figure. 2 million people are covered in the new devolved area of the expanded Northeast Devolution deal. Not freight, just personal transportation. Decide now, pick a figure. We spend £3 billion a year, most of it owning and running private cars. That's £1,500 a year for every man, woman and child in the Northeast, not including rail or road infrastructure. That's what we pay as private citizens. On servicing, new tyres, MOT, road tax, insurance, hospital parking charges and depreciation. We buy cars and we throw them away. We might think we're trading them in or selling them on, but collectively, we buy a car that costs half our annual take-home pay, leave it sitting on a drive while it depreciates, we get some use out of it, and then we throw it away 14 years later. Our houses don't lose money like that. And 96% of today's cars are still powered by fossil fuels. This is literally costing us the earth. So what's the alternative? Henry Ford famously said, if I'd asked people what they wanted, they'd have said faster horses. 5 years after I bought that first car, which was nicked, by the way, I was studying engineering at Northumbria University, and I wrote a paper on what future integrated public transport could look like. Imagine a system that's based around people instead of vehicles, where the question changes from, is there enough parking, to how do we make the bus stop more comfortable? A single intelligent network covering the Northeast from Berwick to Barnard Castle, where every bus has a transponder, so the passengers can see its location in real time on an app and be sure that it's coming, where we use that data for continuous improvement, where every traffic hotspot has a bus gate, so when the bus approaches, the traffic lights change and give the bus priority while the cars wait. Free Wi-Fi on every bus and every train, integrated with a Google Maps style navigation system with real-time data, where you can reserve a bike locker in town so you no longer worry about theft, where your account is keyed to your smartphone or smart card and automatically charges you the lowest fare. So once you've hit a price cap, you get unlimited travel for free, whether you switch between bus, metro, national rail or e-scooter. And yes, you'll still be able to buy a day ticket with cash, so visitors from outside the region can use the network. Buses won't need to wait at bus stops while a driver sells tickets, so the journeys will be faster. People will feel safe whether they're 8 or 80, because we'll have guards on the trains. You'll be able to read your book on the way to work, and a smart system that will plot your routes for walking and cycling, and e-scooters and all forms of first and last mile transport solutions. Our villages and hamlets can have transport on demand. Half bus, half taxi, where you book your journey in advance, the computer calculates the best route and tells you when your bus will arrive, with live tracking information. No more standing in the cold and wet at a bus stop by the road, wondering if you've missed the bus. And you'll still pay the same flat fee as anyone living in the cities. And if you want to get away for the weekend or go to an away game, we'll have expanded car clubs where you can hire a car. And the entire fleet powered by renewable electricity or green hydrogen. And this is not a zero-sum game, by the way. Better public transport means a better deal for motorists. Who likes cruising around for a parking space? Who likes sitting in traffic jams? that stress of thinking, should I change lanes? Is the other lane going faster? Why do we do this to ourselves? Fewer cars on the road means a plumber with a van full of tools or a doctor on call can spend their time doing their job instead of sitting in traffic. It boosts productivity. We have 861,000 cars in the Northeast. 186,000 households own 2 cars. Now, if you can get to work easily or college easily, you can get your goods delivered, you can go for a night out without needing a car, why would you own 2? Thomas Edison famously said, "We will make electricity so cheap that only the rich will burn candles." Well, I'm saying if we make a public transport system so good, people will choose to leave their cars behind. A transport system where we're proud of the fact that we pay our key workers a good wage and give them the status they deserve. It's a good dream, isn't it? But can it be done? We've negotiated a new devolution deal for the Northeast. I knew we needed to. It was in my manifesto, written there in black and white. And all 7 of our local authority leaders understand the power that bus franchising can bring us. The power to take control of our transport system, where we decide what buses run and when, and what the fares are, the specifications of the vehicles, as part of one total network. We've got to pay for it, but it'll cost a lot less than the £3 billion a year we're spending on cars. Obesity costs the Northeast £1.4 billion every year. A few hundred extra steps a day will transform health outcomes. And we have to end the lost opportunities of people unable to get to the jobs and training courses that will boost their earnings and invigorate our economy. Lou Haig's already confirmed last year that an incoming Labour government will deliver Northern Powerhouse Rail in full, including reopening and electrifying the Leamside line. And that opens up the Wearside Metro Loop, extending the metro from South Hilton through Washington to Heworth, making it quicker for the people of Sunderland to connect to the national rail network. And with land value capture, we can build new metro lines and lever in billions from pension funds into the housing and the clean economic growth along these corridors, just as we're already doing the north of Tyne along the Northumberland line, which we've had confirmed will be open next year. While we're talking about cost, what is the cost to future generations and our planet if we don't do this? 200 yards that way is the 4th Street Works, where in 1829, George and Robert Stephenson built the rocket. That rocket did not go to the moon, but it heralded the biggest public transport revolution this planet has ever seen. 20 years later, Queen Victoria opened the High Level Bridge, a masterpiece of Geordie ingenuity. By the mid-1950s, there were more than 7,000 miles of track across the country, including the Belmont Viaduct and the Durham Viaduct, which today we call the Leamside Line and the East Coast Main Line. And it's a sad fact that our region had more rail routes in 1857 than we have today. Our trains are unreliable, our buses fragmented, our cities choked with traffic, our transport system in chaos, and it's costing us a fortune. When I was an engineer and we were given a design challenge, make this product stronger and lighter and cheaper, never once did I hear anybody say, that's not possible. We loved those challenges. And as I look around this room and I see the planners and the engineers and the data analysts and the legal experts and the communications professionals, I see the skills and the passion that we have to deliver this. The job of your politicians is to say, we will put a man on the moon by the end of this decade. Well, I'm saying if I'm elected for a second term, this time as North East Mayor, we will build that total transport network. We are the heirs of Stephenson. The North will rise again and lead the green industrial revolution. We will rise to the challenges of the present and build a zero carbon, zero poverty transport system for future generations to inherit with pride. It's in our hands, colleagues. Let's do this.